What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we need to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what just came out from the company itself, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. Starting off, SoFi is down 1.4%. It did have a new 52-week low of $6.26. And there wasn't anything to do with SoFi exactly. There was one thing that did come out, which isn't good, but this downtrend is more of a broader market pullback, and that's because of just it hitting a very strong resistance level, the S&P, of course, that 5,500 mark. So it's pulling back because of that. So a lot of volatility. So again, I think a lot of people are somewhat fearful and now automatically thinking that should we be at this level? So kind of a weird circumstance, but nonetheless, when it comes to SoFi, 19.4 million shares being traded, 34.6 is the average. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. So you saw a lot of buying first thing. There was a big one as well, 2.74 million. But aside from that, that was before the market started to get somewhat fearful and everything. There was also this that did come out first thing. So initial jobless claims, 238 versus 235 the forecast. So not necessarily the best, but of course this could be more interpreted as the inverse equivalent because this is somewhat negative data, and I think the market wants negative data because that does justify interest rate cuts. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Like I said, no news exactly from SoFi, but there was a 144 that just came out that was at 10:51 today, and it did insinuate this individual, so Officer Rishel, if I'm saying that right, is selling roughly around 56,000 shares, and that is as of approximate date of sale today. And so 56,000 equates to $360,000. So this is where, in my opinion, the negative side of SoFi is coming in, because even though this isn't necessarily a reason to sell SoFi or to buy, but it's questionable, right? Even if we look over here, typically at the past, Jeremy does sell at the peaks, as weird as that is. So you see this individual right here, this sale was Jeremy, seems to be lagging a little bit, but this one was Jeremy where he did sell 56,000 shares. This one, I believe, was Jeremy as well, 53,000. He actually did recently just sell as well, and you can kind of see that right here. So this is all the transactions, insider transactions for SoFi. And just to give you a quick overview of Jeremy exactly, we should have known anyways because he did submit something on the 18th and it did show that he sold, but it was for tax purposes, and that was in the sum of $974,000. That did make up roughly around 23% of his then position, but still, needless to say, Jeremy is, at least in my opinion, a very toxic individual based on this. So he did sell, like I said, $360,000 based on what he's done. He's always just exercised, so been given shares and whatever, and he sells it for tax purposes and then does a straight up sale, rinse and repeat. So this in reality is just more of a bad image rather than anything. But no matter what, keep in mind, I am not a financial advisor. You guys do your own due diligence and whatever floats your boat. Aside from that though, giving you a quick overview of what short's doing, they are currently increasing 148,000 shares. 17.53% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 182.1 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 1.01%, and then utilization is 73.13%. So in reality, given the fear that just kind of circulated in the broader market, I would have anticipated shorts to double down. So it kind of does show that that sell-off that caused SoFi to hit that new 52-week low is and was kind of unjustified. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Looking at options, 4.61 million in calls, 1.73 million in puts. Sentiment-wise, 52% of all the options being done so far today are bullish and optimistic, but then again, you kind of have to factor in that shorts probably are taking up a good majority of that just by hedging. But as it stands right now, looking at the open interest, Currently at the $6 strike price, there's 6,000 in open interest, 21,000 at that 650, 59,000 at that 7. So another wall essentially at that 650 that SoFi might be struggling with. That's if it does kind of gain some good momentum and to potentially touch it again. But still, these damn walls are absolutely horrific for SoFi. So no matter what, you just need a nice push coming from institutions, so good old Cathie Wood or someone else, to come in and just buy the hell out of SoFi and hopefully keep it at a good support level. And then already looking into this upcoming, or I guess next week, you do already see 9,000 at that 650, 16,000 at that 7. So it might be once again rinse and repeat going into next week. Right now with it at $6.34, it is trading between this S3 and this S2. So the market right now is treating SoFi like garbage. Like any stock that is trading between this range right now does have something wrong with it. So this is a very unfortunate thing. A lot of people really like SoFi, myself included. I like the fact that they keep hitting home run earnings, have good growth, but just the actual underlying support coming from institutions just is not there. Of course, there could be a lot of bear arguments made against SoFi associated to loans and whatever else, but in my opinion, I think that's kind of minuscule, but what do I know, right? So 607 as it stands right now is going to be that next strong support, and then $6.45 is going to be that next strong resistance / target. On the actual chart itself, you see stochastic very oversold, so kind of went from polar opposites for that. Number of retail investors are getting out, and it is lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. So I think all in all, SoFi is just kind of stuck in limbo. I think it just might be piggybacking off of the broader market and just their kind of optimism associated to rate cuts. That might be the next big thing to really drive SoFi higher. Until then, I think it just might be stuck in limbo, as crappy as that sounds. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing? And don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.